Hello, I'm Andy Martens. Welcome to Civic Affairs. My guest is Don Mitchell, the president of the Sioux Chamber of Commerce. Don, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andy. Pleasure to be here.
First up, I thought we'd get, if you want to let the viewers know a brief summary of what your role as president of the Sioux Chamber of Commerce, what that entails.
Sure, Andy. It's a volunteer position where we represent about 41% of all the people working here in Sault Ste. Marie. Our membership comprises that kind of volume. And we speak on advocacy issues needed for the business community and for the community at large. So the president of the Chamber of Commerce is a spokesperson for the board along with the CEO.
Great, and you obviously are in touch with them, and you keep in tabs with what's going on.
Our job is to advocate on behalf of business and the community here as a whole so that we can look at the economic progress of our community and hope that we continue to grow and prosper and move forward.
Wonderful. Let's start off with talking about skilled trades and jobs, your favorite word at the Chamber.
It is. Lots of, look at the first thing that everybody has to understand is Andy, there's lots of jobs out there, but what we need is to fill the people with the jobs availability and the skills to fill those jobs. You know, when we speak of the skilled trades, we're not talking about just mechanics or plumbers or carpenters or lawyers or physicians. You know, you look at the financial industry, look at the hospitality industry, which is huge here in Sault Ste. Marie. Those are all skills. Those are necessary. For example, right now in Sault Ste. Marie, there's a number of restaurants and eating spots that are looking for trained, skilled chefs. So there's immediate jobs available. This isn't something to thumb your nose at, and this is not minimum wage jobs, okay? You work up from the start of that, but these are skilled, very professional jobs that lead to something. And we're very fortunate. We've got Sioux College that have a tremendous hospitality training program. So, you know, it's there. We just have to fit the people today going through school into the categories where there are going to be jobs available. Everybody at one time wanted to be a teacher. Now when you finish college and you've got your certificate, you say, here I am as a teacher. Now you look and they say, but there's not immediate jobs. They're very difficult to attain. But there are other areas. For example, right now, in the next 3 years, the steel plant's going to look for 600 to 1,000 new replacement jobs. J.D. Arrow at the airport, you hear it consistently, you know, 40 or 50 jobs, but they have to be a special basic training, and on-job will complete the job. So parents and students, I say to you, verify where the jobs are going to be and what they're going to be in. It may not be your first choice, but take a look. And I guarantee you, if you take the right courses, you will walk out of a college or university with a job.
You and I have talked before, Don, that, you know, when I was growing up, my dad said, you have to go to university, son, and all of that. And I wanted to do radio and TV, and which I'm doing now. And community college would have been the better spot to do, but I'm sure you've heard that before.
Time and time again. If you go back, the one thing is, if you look over at Germany, they've taught how important skills are. You know, for a long time here, it was mom and dad, and I was just as bad. You want your children to go forward, hey, put on a suit and tie and become a lawyer or a doctor or a professional person. But now, okay, a plumber, okay, for example, probably has as good, if not a better life than any of the professions have. And we forget that. This is a true profession, a carpenter, electrician, you know, a mechanic.
Okay.
These are important jobs,
right,
okay?
Right.
And they're always going to have a job. Always going to have a job because they can go out on their own and do these things.
That's
so
right, yeah.
why would we say, hey, go become a lawyer? I love lawyers. I got a number of friends as lawyers, but I mean, holy cow. I mean, there's lots of other things that they can do. So we look down on blue collar jobs, and we shouldn't. We should be looking up.
We'll take a quick break, Don. We'll be right back to you. Let's take this quick time out. We'll be right back with Civic Affairs.
Good.
Welcome back to Civic Affairs. We're chatting with Don Mitchell, the president of the Sioux Chamber of Commerce. Last council meeting, Don, the mayor and council had a consultant that predicted that Sault Ste. Marie would grow 10,000 by 10,000 in about 20 years, in 2036. Your thoughts on that?
First of all, I love the idea of growing 10,000 people. I have to tell you that about 5 years ago, I predicted that today we'd be closer to 80 or 85,000. Obviously, I was incorrect, okay, and would I like to see it? Absolutely, okay, but we have to remember, I don't want to pour any cold water on what the city had said, but Finance Canada and Statistics Canada have shown another development, and that is a minus for Northern Ontario, not a plus. But I think we can overcome that and lean towards the 10,000 over the next 20 years, but we can't do it in isolation. And what I mean by that is we have to make sure that we inform the public where the skills are needed for the jobs that are out there and fill them accordingly. We have to remember, for example, in the 600 or 1,000 jobs that are going to be available at the steel plant are because of retirement. Those aren't brand new jobs. Those are fill-in jobs that are going to fill in because people like myself are older and are retiring and they're stepping out of the work field. So our jobs have to be filled. True growth is going to come from brand new jobs being created. And to get those jobs, we can't do it in isolation. I'd like to explain to everybody, the City of Sault Ste. Marie and City Council, the province, okay, and the federal government do not create jobs except within their own government bureaucracies. They do not create business jobs. Who creates business jobs? It's business,
right.
Okay? What the province is for, the city is for, and the federal are there, is to provide us with the infrastructure necessary so that business can grow their own business or move a new business in, and they provide the proper infrastructure. Again, that is not just roads, that is not sewers and water and light. That is a number of amenities, okay? You have to have the cultural, the social, you have to have the healthcare, you have to have the education. All of these things lead to a prosperous community, but it's got to work together and in unity, okay? And it's not going to be done by our city or city council or as the province or the feds. It's got to be done as a whole community. And we're so fortunate that we have a university and a college that helps us in our expansion. But we have to use those entities. We have to be cognizant of what they need and what their requirements, but at the same time, they have to be cognizant of what type of jobs and courses to run for the businesses that are here in Sault Ste. Marie. And I think we're starting to do that. We have to do a good job at it, better job than we're doing, but I think we're heading that way.
I see what you're saying, Don. Yeah, we got to work as a team between
Absolutely.
the mayor, MPP, and MP.
And
I don't see if we're doing it that well at the present time.
Look, everything can get better.
Right.
None of us are perfect, okay? And we have to forget the minor squabbles that occur between all of us. We have to forget the things that we disagree on because, like a good marriage, you better have some disagreement in your life, okay? Or everything isn't going to go as you want it to go. There has to be disagreements. You have to have those, but you have to put them aside to move forward on new projects.
Right.
Because you disagree on one doesn't mean that you are going to disagree on everything that follows that. That
How
doesn't
about
happen.
30 seconds left? Does the chamber have a role to play in that?
Absolutely, because we represent 41% of all the people working in Sault Ste. Marie through the employees. So definitely we do. We have a voice that has to carry, and we have a partnership that has to carry out there, that we will work with the university, we will work with the college, we'll work with the city. But again, I say we have to do this together.
Right.
Okay? Together, we can do anything. But if we don't, folks, we aren't going to reach the 10,000. If we do, we will.
Right. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
Don, appreciate you coming on the show again.
Andy, thank you very much.
Always welcome on the show, and thank you so much.
Anytime at all.
We'll take a quick break, and then Brent Krmpotich from the Algoma University, the Director of Enrollment Services and International Operations, will be my guest. We'll be right back.
Thanks, buddy.
Welcome back to the show. I'm joined now by Brent Krmpotich, who's the Director of Enrollment Services and International Operations at Algoma University. Brent, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. Yeah, you've taken time out of your day to come on the show. I wanted to start out by talking about the growth potential of Algoma University. You have such a dynamic president of ASIMA, and things are really happening at Algoma University in the last few months.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on at the university, and we've got big plans for growth. So the university right now, we've just put together a 5-year enrollment strategy to see us grow from around 1,200 students right now to close to 3,000 by the year 2025.
Oh, great. What are the key components of that growth plan?
Key components of the plan, I mean, a lot of it's going to be driven by academic program development, and we've seen a lot of that happen already. We've got a recently launched School of Business and Economics, a School of Life Sciences and the Environment that is close to coming to fruition, and then a lot of strengths in computer science and information technology. So these are program areas that are they're in high demand in Canada and abroad. So we think that there's some innovative things happening in those program areas that are going to attract more students to Algoma University.
And your job is a key piece of that, isn't it, as Director of Enrollment and International Operations? If you want to give the viewers a quick synopsis of what you do every day.
Sure, yeah, I'd say my job is certainly a piece of it. The enrollment strategy is really being driven by the academic side of the university, so the faculty, and then I'm the kind of the lead from the administrative side of the university. So in terms of what I do every day, it's marketing, developing the marketing strategies, executing the marketing strategies, involved in recruitment and admissions. So we spend a lot of time promoting the university. So, I'm involved in deciding on where we're going to do that, what markets we're going to enter into, what the message is going to be. And then processing applications and making sure that the students we meet are eligible for admission and helping to transition them to life at Algoma University.
Times have changed though, haven't they, Brent? In 2019, it's a lot more than just going to market Algoma University in the GTA or in Toronto. You're literally looking all around the world. Is that not correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So in our January intake, we had students from 22 different countries begin studying at Algoma University. Wow. And in total right now, we've got students from over 40 different countries represented in our student body.
Can you give our viewers a sneak peek of where you're thinking of this year to market Algoma University and what countries?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a big population of students from India. That's pretty common to most universities in Canada. So we look at sort of the Indian subcontinent, so that would include India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal. Southeast Asia is a part of the world we pay a lot of attention to, so I'll be traveling to Vietnam in the spring to meet with some representatives and some students there. China, we think there's potential for more students from China to study at Algoma. And then West Africa. We've got quite a few students from West Africa, which is, for us, that's Nigeria and Ghana primarily, but we think there's some opportunity for growth there.
And you actually travel to all these countries then?
I travel to many of them. The university sends representatives to certainly all of the countries that we target, and I've been lucky enough to travel to many of them myself.
But certainly India has a big piece in this city, and how is Algoma University received in these countries?
Oh, great. India is one of my favorite places in the world to travel for work because in India, they very much think Canada first. It's their preferred destination.
They do, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're very keen. I think some of that is historical, that there's, big populations of, big Indian populations in Canada in some different cities. So it's, we're really well received in India.
Great. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the new programs in Northern College in Timmins and Brampton campus. You guys are really making inroads at home too.
Yeah, definitely. So Algoma University, though, we're changing the way we're talking about the university, that we're really a tri-campus or three-campus university where we've got our main campus here in Sault Ste. Marie, but significant presences in Brampton and Timmins as well. So last week, a contingent of us traveled to Timmins to pay a visit to Northern College, where we signed some agreements making it easier for students to transition from Northern to Algoma University. So the agreements we signed last week were specific to our business program. Business administration is one of the most popular programs at our university, so now students in Timmins or surrounding area can do their first 2 years of study at Northern College and then get full credit for that and move to Sault Ste. Marie or Brampton to complete just the last 2 years of their degree.
Right.
And we also signed an agreement specific to the computer science program. So it's similar where students would do 2 years in computer science at Northern. There's an online bridging component they would take over the summer, then do their final 1 or 2 years here in Sault Ste. Marie.
Great. We'll take a quick break, Brent.
Sure.
Brent, you stay right there, and we'll be right back with more with Brent Krmpotich after these messages. Welcome back. We're chatting with Brent Krmpotich, who's the Director of Enrollment Services and International Operations at Algoma University. Brent, I was wondering in our remaining minutes in this final segment, when these international foreign students come to the Soo, what is the process that Algoma University entails to make these people feel at home?
Sure.
Here?
That's a good question, and there's a lot that goes on, and it starts way earlier than or way before they arrive in Sault Ste. Marie. So when they've indicate they're interested in coming to Algoma University, there's a series of pre-departure webinars that we offer them, just providing some information on things that we think they need to know before they get to Sault Ste. Marie and before they get to Canada. Now, I talked about a big intake in January. Well, part of this is as simple as the weather, right? They're coming from warm weather countries, and they need to, you need a jacket before you get, it's going to be cold when you get off the plane, you need a jacket, you need a hat. These are some things you need to think about. And then, other pieces of that are trying to connect them with housing, right? Find appropriate housing for them, whether it's on campus. We have great accommodations available to students on campus, but for some that are interested in off-campus housing, we try to help them coordinate some of those pieces so that they're ready to start studying when they get here. Right. For the international students, we ask them to come about a week earlier than we would with Canadian students, and they undergo an orientation program that a lot of it is orienting them to life in Canada, right? So it's how the academic side of things work at the university, the timing of their courses, the expectations inside and outside of class. Some of it is as simple as learning to use the bus routes in Sault Ste. Marie and that kind of thing. Just give them a bit of time to acclimatize to life in Canada and living like a Canadian.
How has all this been received by the students? Are they can you see it's kind of like a learning curve or growing pains to adapt into Northern Ontario? I
don't know if I'd say growing pains. There's certainly a learning curve. Like, they're a little bit apprehensive sometimes when they arrive. This is a huge step for them. Some of them are 17 and they're moving halfway around the world to go to school, right?
Exactly.
So, it's not just, some of the things are the same things Canadians experience when they go away. Well, they don't get their parents to help them with certain things anymore, and they're living on their own. But overall, they love it, right? Once they get used to life in Canada and life at Algoma, they really like the classes and how engaging the classes are. They're enjoying living in Sault Ste. Marie. They enjoy the pace of life, and the opportunities they get here are things that they wouldn't do anywhere else. Like, we took over 100 students skiing at Searchmont on January 19th. Well,
great.
They'd never skied before. They'd never dreamed they'd been skiing before, right? So yeah,
How was that received?
They loved it. It was cold. It was a cold day, but they loved it. Like, they were coming down the bunny hill squealing, like, with excitement over like getting to do something they never dreamed that they would have done.
This is really important for the fabric of this community, isn't it, Brent, in terms of, if we continue like this, the growth of Algoma University in 10 years will be tremendous. I have about 45 seconds left.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think, there's really positive things happening at the university, and they're going to be positive for Algoma, but for the community as well. There's lots of studies done on the economic impact that students have moving into a community, whether they're international and domestic. That's huge. And these are also students that can fall in love with the city and contribute to population growth and filling some of the needs of the labor market in the future.
And they would go home to their countries and mention Sault Ste. Marie. That could end up with employers deciding to do something here as well. You don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the opportunities are endless. Many of them are entrepreneurial and will start a business here.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, Brent.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's been a lot of fun.
It was really informative. Thanks very much.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me.
I'm Andy Martens, and that's Civic Affairs. We'll see you next week.